Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Today we're talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 6, and brace yourselves, because this will probably be one of my most controversial reviews yet. Why? Because contrarily to a few people I know, I enjoyed the episode quite a lot. So much so, in fact, that I actually think it's the best of the season so far. I know. Look, it's not perfect, it's far from it, but honestly, I think the episode made for some very, very interesting Star Trek. Okay, so maybe I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I mean, maybe everyone else liked it just as much as me, and so the whole controversy thing is ridiculous. I don't know. All I know is I had fun, so let's dive in. I'm going to explain my point of view. It's okay if you don't agree, by the way. It's fine if you feel differently. We all have our yays and nays, and of course, not every episode can be universally loved. Anyway, this episode to me was as Star Trek as you can get, alright? First, we dive deep into the backstory and history of both the Kelpians and the Baul. More is developed on their relationship. We get to see some of Kaminar, some of the Baul technology, and an actual Baul as well as plenty of Kelpians. And then, as the story progresses, our characters find themselves in a very tough situation. A General Order 1/Prime Directive situation where, frankly, nothing happens the way you want it to. Or should I say, nothing happens the way the audience is used to it happening. But that opens up millions of conversations. And if that's not Star Trek, then what is? This is an episode that takes the time to show you more about two alien races and confront you with an ethical dilemma. In many regards, this resembles a lot of the Bajoran episodes from Deep Space Nine or a lot of the Klingon episodes from The Next Generation. Yes, the episode has the traditional Discovery issues. The plot conveniences are massive. I mean, Saru beams off the USS Discovery while the shields are up. He also sets a 60-second timer that serves the single purpose of giving the writers time to have him talk to Burnham. Later on, he's able to construct a communications device with only a few parts from a weapon drone, which in itself is already far-fetched, but most importantly, he does this while for some inexplicable reason the Baul leave him alone, rather than send in more drones or, do something. Also, for the sake of giving Burnham some spotlight on the bridge and advancing Saru's story, Pike is flat out disrespected by the writers. I mean, he's being pushed around on the bridge and written in a way that, frankly, feels out of character. But in this episode, these issues, as present as they are, become secondary to the appeal of the story. Or at least, that's what I felt. And for what it's worth, that's good. Look, I don't agree with the final decision to force evolve the entire Kelpian species, but at the end of the day, it was a judgment call, and who knows? Maybe that storyline will come back one day in a future season. Maybe Pike and Saru will have to deal with the consequence of whatever happens on Kaminar after Discovery's departure. And then there's the Red Angel. Some have speculated it to be Spock, others Archer, or the time traveler working with the Soliban from Enterprise, which was supposed to be Archer as well, by the way. The theory that it's the Iconians still exists, or some have said it could be the Xindi Avians. Now that we've had a better look at the shape, most seem to agree it's female. Some people are now going with it being Burnham. Some also say it could be the Preservers from the original series. Whichever the case, it is pretty clear that the show is trying to heavily hint at time travel. So maybe that's why they took the liberty of showing us such a questionable decision made by Pike. Maybe it'll somehow be fixed in some sort of time travel shenanigan. Honestly, I found the story to be overall interesting. I also loved all the location filming. The sets on the planet looked amazing. The CG was TV acceptable throughout the episode. The design of the Baul ships and their technology was interesting. And so were the Baul themselves. I mean, it's awesome to see Star Trek get weird now and then. The makeup and the costumes were fantastic. I didn't notice anything too creative in the direction this time around, so I've got nothing much to say about that, apart from the obnoxious, never-ending spinning camera moment in that scene from the beginning, of course. With Tyler, Pike, and Burnham. It was horrible. That was terrible. Stop the camera now and then. Have it static, Not everything has to be dynamic and energetic all the time. It's people talking. Just let them talk. Especially considering all of the performances in this episode were outstanding. Doug Jones has this moment where he tries to grab a CG drone in midair, and clearly on set there was nothing for him to grab, so the movement feels a little unnatural, but it's a minor detail. Other than that, I was really impressed. The Kelpians are such a terrible species, though. I'm sorry I had to come back to this, but, honestly, I know we, the audience, are supposed to feel for them, but, knowing that they're the original predators and seeing how violent, aggressive, and unpredictable they become once they lose their fear is just terrifying. I'm so glad they're not warp-capable. I feel like warp-capable, fearless Kelpians would be a huge threat to the Federation, and the Quadrant, for that matter. But, that's something for another day, I guess. The point is, the episode is creating discussion. It's making me want to talk about it all the time, and not about canon consistency like most of season 1. It's creating discussion and debate about its central theme, its story, and honestly, that is something significant. I congratulate writers Bo-yeon Kim and Erica Lippold for this, truly. I liked the episode. Alright, that's enough. Moving on to Easter eggs and references, although there were just a few, starting with the bowl. The design of the species reminded, I think, everyone of Amos, the black sludge thingy from the Next Generation, and I gotta say I also got some Shellyak vibes. Essentially everything black and creepy, right? These things, the Watchful Eye Pillars, as Saru calls them, are basically the obelisks from the original series episode The Paradise Syndrome, but upside down. Remember, we also got a glimpse at a Preserver obelisk in Season 1 of Discovery when Burnham is shown the potential of the spore drive by Lorca. Regarding this episode specifically and these upside down obelisks, I'm not sure if any story elements will actually come from this, or if it's just a visual nod to the original series, but, you know, one thing is for sure, it was done on purpose. In the flashbacks to when Georgiou came to get Saru, she arrives on a shuttle labeled just 03, and it's said in this episode that at the time she was serving aboard the USS Archimedes. This is a small retcon of the Saru-themed short treks, where the shuttle features the letters SHN, indicating Georgiou hailed from the USS Shenzhou. Regarding this, someone tweeted, "Most likely it's a visual effects error from the brightest star that was spotted and fixed in time for the sound of thunder. Both were made at the same time, so it's unlikely they intended the Shenzhou, and they changed their minds to the Archimedes." And as you can see, the Discovery writing team liked the tweet, so there you have it, they just confirmed it. It was a mistake made in the Short Treks episode. At the time they forgot to remove the 3 letters, so nothing major. To finish this off, we hear a few words in Kelpian, and it's interesting to note that a certain Mark Okrand is credited as the Kelpian language consultant. Okrand is the guy who created the Klingon language and helped with the Vulcan and Romulan languages for the movies as well. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the positive comments that I've been getting on my recent reviews. It really means a lot. And I love making these videos, so, you know, it's all good. Let's carry on. As usual, remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and most of all, live long and prosper.